Hey, good evening, everyone. Okay, this is nothing like a 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern. Oh, nice bedtime story, like a compensation plan discussion to send you off to night time. But thanks for coming on, you guys. I really appreciate this pioneering effort we all have here. Um, okay, if anyone's been in my energy orbit for more than a couple of weeks, they'll inevitably hear the fact that I once met Steve Jobs, and he's kind of somebody in the business world I thought had a pretty amazing vision about things. But this is one of those Jobsian quotes that I think is amazing because he did a great job of keeping things simple. And simple can be harder than complex. I know that sounds like a contradiction. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple. There's a lot of numbers when you look at something like compensation. I always like describe it that when you're talking to the coders, it's like they look at it like it's the matrix and there's numbers coming down. And when you throw like some idea out here, it deflects numbers and they go another way. And you have to kind of get into your flow state. And I take these very seriously because these are things that affect people's ability to make an income. And if you don't understand it, and there are people out there running companies that don't understand it, you can just, it's like giving a monkey a loaded gun. You have no idea what mess you can make with people's lives if you don't pay attention to the numbers. But when you get down to it, you can boil it down to some simple things. So before we start, by the way, thank you for full court pressing me. I was murmuring this week about I felt like I was peer pressured, like we got to do the call and do everybody's training, and I was like, okay, and then I'm like, dang it. But it's good because it forces us to run our numbers ahead of the game, and I think that's a good thing. So, disclaimer: this is a first time run through, and this is for our wonderful NDA pioneers out there. So, excuse our typos or syntax. Okay, our. When I say our, I mean mine. I probably have a few in there, but we have some. If you folks don't know, on the line, we have some unbelievable, remarkable industry giants, some network amazing superstars. And anything that I learned over the years, I have to give credit to some of the folks that this is a result of endless discussions. And I don't want to leave out names, but, not just Ray or Charlie or Hernan or oh gosh, Brenda and Collie and et cetera. These are, I don't know how many conversations I've had over the years, way more than most people my age living in the Beehive State. But this is a result of a lot of many, many discussions. I think, you guys, I put a few comp plans together. This is the best one I've ever done. I'm really kind of a little bit proud of it. And you'll see maybe why. Hopefully you do. So we're going to crack the door tonight and give you a glimpse of what we will be launching here in a couple of weeks and what we've been programming. Because it's one thing for me to blah, blah, blah. It's another thing to take blah, 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 freaking blah, and put it into zeros and ones. And we have the coding, I'd say probably, what do you say, Curtis, 85, 90% done?
Probably 90%. We're getting, well, 85, 90. We're pretty close.
It's pretty close.
Really good.
Yeah. And that, let me tell you, that is not for the faint of heart. Those are long meetings where you're looking at every scenario that can happen. But okay, the disclaimers also, okay, no animals were harmed in the creation of this comp plan. By the way, competitors will look smaller tomorrow morning when you get up. Absolutely true. Side effects may include a little bit of excitement, at least for me. If you know comp plans, I'll tell you, somebody like Mike or Betty or whatever, they're like, oh my gosh, what? Feelings of joy and optimism are pretty normal. And tomorrow, you're going to hear anybody that sees this in the competitive realm will say that's impossible. Because when we talk about some of the things that we're doing, impossible is what competitors will say. They're lying to you. That's impossible. No, I'm going to put a word out there. Possible. Not just possible, but it's absolutely true. Like, this is verified with programming. Like, everybody knows me knows I hate the phrase, you can't have your cake and eat it too, because I'm 58 years of age and I've had many birthdays, and every birthday I get a cake and I eat it too. So some of the things you're seeing in here, you're told by folks out there running companies that it's not possible. They're lying. It's absolutely possible. So let's start from a point of simplicity tonight and what we're doing going forward. I love this little phrase, keep it simple, the KISS system. Keep it simple, salesman. We'll stay positive tonight. Keep it simple. Given the choice between complicated and simple, I grew up on a dirt road. Joe knows this. It's still a dirt road. The house that we grew up with in is on a dirt road. R1 Shelburne, Ontario, Canada. Dirt road. Okay, 1 mile from the closest blacktop. I prefer things simple, but at the end of the day, I'm still a capitalist, and I prefer, given the choice of not making money and making money, that I think making money is completely respectable. So, but you can do it by keeping things simple. So we're starting a few general rules that we have in the office. Everybody that walks through here knows we all prick a finger and make a blood oath that we're going to keep things simple. Another thing is that we pricked our fingers and made blood oaths not to mess with people's rice bowls. Now, what do I mean by that? This is something my father said, and he probably took from, I don't know, Covey or Zig Ziglar or something over the years. But my father would always say, when it comes to people that earn their money in sales and commissions, never mess with a man or a woman's rice bowl. And like rice is carried in a vessel, it's a bowl. You feed your family with this. And if the bowl changes or is compromised, it messes with your ability to feed a family. And so our goal out of the gates is the goal I've always had, and that is don't monkey with people's rice bowl. We want to have a comp plan that isn't going to be flavor of the month, and it's going to change every 30, 60, 90 days, or even like every year or 2 years or 3. We want it the same. My brother Joe, every once in a while, we go to our favorite burger place in Canada, and we go, it's called Super Burger. It's the only good thing to ever come out of Shelburne. Except for Highway 89.
Maybe you two and your family.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, my brothers and my sisters and my mom and dad. But Joe, one time we went there and we see this dude that cooks the burgers, and Joe goes, he gets so excited, he goes, it will be the same. And I'm like, it will be the same onion rings. So anyway, it will. Transparency and accountability. We have chosen a type of compensation module, and you'll see it here as we get going, that is easy for you to see and keep honest people honest. Sometimes there are, let me just say it this way. I think it's funny. Joe dropped one today, and it was a wordsmithing game that somebody in a competing company was using as far as the way that they were. I will give you an analogy because it's the first thing that came to my mind. I am apologizing ahead of time that I have an irreverent sense of humor, and I happened to find a movie called Anchorman funny. But there's a dude in there at one scene, and he's got a cologne that he swears women love and drives the women nuts. It doesn't, but it's called Sex Panther. And here's the quote. It's called Sex Panther. It's made of bits of real panther, so you know it's good. And they've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time. I think that is funny because I hear people out there saying, that 50% of our every dollar spent goes into our comp plan, which pays 60% of every 50% of every dollar. I'm like, whoa, swallow the cat that ate the rat that lived in the house that Jack did. Good Lord, take your family to safety. Ain't nobody making a check. So anyway, I'm just out in that kind of crap. I hate it. My thing. I just rant. And it comes down to this. I believe that the confused don't purchase. Also, I'm convinced thoroughly that the confused don't build big businesses. And I think the folks on the line here, you've proven that you are patient and have the tenacity to see something new and handle a little wet paint. We don't want to cause confusion out of the gate. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go forward here and we'll launch into OLIABO. And we call it Premio Pay, and we're saying the power of simplicity. Premio Pay is the name that we've given to our comp plan. And we said this: work where you want and earn what you deserve. And I think that that's a pretty reasonable expectation. Work where you want, earn what you deserve. And the power of simplicity is very, I think is very important. My brother Joe mentioned, and I didn't fix the slide deck, I talked about the statue of David in Florence, that it's one of my favorite pieces of art. I think really because of its simplicity. It's beautiful and it's sophisticated, but it tells the story of a dude that was, if you look at the statue, he was buck naked. I think he had clothes back in the day, but he goes into battle. A young boy goes into battle against a giant with nothing but a slingshot and a lot of ambition, and he slays a giant. And I think there's power in simplicity. So, folks, what you're going to see at the heart of it is simple, but it's powerful. And that seems like it's contrasting, but it's not. You can be powerful and have simplicity. So let's go forward here for a moment. I'm going to start with launching a few features of the comp plan. And for the folks on the line that understand direct selling in the world of nutritionals, these features are very important. I think features are less sexy than benefits, because the features we're about to see create checks and profitable businesses. The features are less sexy than the putting money in your pocket, but it's still very important. And if you understand features, you'll understand benefits. I have drill bits here because, okay, I Googled it today. On an average day in America, 5.75 million people buy drill bits. Okay, right now, statistically speaking, the Home Depot is what, probably like one freeway exit away.
Yeah.
There's some dude walking in. Is it still open? Yeah. Some dude's walking into Home Depot looking for a 1/4-inch drill bit. And the irony is that guy is not looking for a 1/4-inch drill bit. That's the feature. He's actually wanting a 1/4-inch hole in his wall, probably to put in a towel rack or something. The feature is a drill bit. He's not really excited about the drill bit. He is excited to get his towel rack fixed, which is a hole. So we're going to talk about features here. The unique selling features of the Premio Pay comp plan. So let's start with feature number 1 for folks that understand a little bit about the industry and stuff that we've done in the past. The Premio Pay will have a weekly component so that you can put money in your pocket every week. It will have a monthly component so that you can put additional, bigger amounts of money many times in your pocket every month. But also, wait, there's more, a quarterly component. And I love this part because, you know, in corporate America, we all get excited about having a Christmas bonus. Like, who doesn't want a Christmas bonus? But if you can have a bonus 4 times a year, a big bonus too, in many cases. I've had calls with people on the line here, and I'm not making this up. It's probably my favorite things to do in the past is we would Rochambeau for who gets to call somebody when they would hit a level in our comp plan in the past, because we knew that it was a life-changing amount of money. And I'm excited to make those calls again. And this comp plan can create those calls faster than anything I've ever seen. So 50% payout on every CV unit. Every unit of CV, commissionable volume, will have a 50% payout, 50% forced payout. So that's a way to keep honest people honest. I'll unpack that a little further as we go, but if we do our job right, we will spend a ridiculous amount of time talking about this unique selling feature going forward. For those folks on the line that are familiar with the way that happens, there'll be more discussions, but easy price points. A unique selling feature is easy price points. I've seen plans out there that require you to purchase ridiculous amounts of products. I was joking, like some of them should come with like tough sheds. Like, hey, you buy 1 month worth of product, we're going to send you a tough shed because you can have so much damn product it's going to be in your backyard. We're not doing that. We've seen those plans. Ray likes to say, my favorite Ray quote about this is like, I've been in companies where I bought so much product. There was so much product in the trunk of my car, my lights would shine in the trees at night. And I've stolen Ray's quote more than once because it's funny. Only somebody from the South can do that. The way that we were doing 50% on every CV unit is something called dynamic compression. It means there is no breakage in our company. And that is the dirty secret of an industry. I'm going to point out some vocabulary that appeared to have creeped back into our industry, and that is when you hear somebody say, oh yeah, you pay 50% payout, we pay up to 62% payout, or as much as 63%. Like as much as and up to means you don't pay that. That's what you theoretically could pay if the planets align and, you know, my astrological star chart is aligned with, you know, and it's not whatever. I don't actually understand astrology, so I don't want to sound stupid. I already sound stupid most of the time. Minimal CV split. This should make a few people smile on here. I've seen splits so wide right now, you could drive a Mack truck through them, and I think that's kind of crappy, and I'll explain that in a minute. Global bonus pool. This is a way that you can take a unilevel or a simple comp plan and create checks that are only possible historically with very big, complicated stair-step breakaways. And I'm very much a fan of those, but those days are gone. Nobody has time to figure out a stair-step breakaway. They started to get I built one. By the way, I'm a good salesman. I sponsored Ray into a stair-step breakaway. So, but their stair-step takeaway, it's the joke, right? Because somebody breaks away. So we're not that There's a global bonus pool. It's the way that we can get big commission payouts from our unilevel. Also, there will be a secret applause. I'm fine. You've been murmuring behind my back for 20 years. There are minimal structure requirements. Yes, I am the guy that put the structure requirements in that last thing that we all did that got some of you in like hostage taking situations where people were like, you got to buy my product. And then, sorry. Anyway, you live and learn, okay? A lot of the stuff we're doing tonight that we're about to show you is data driven based on historical stuff that I've experienced and many people have. People like Adam Blake, he had to do something called toggling back in the day. Toggling. Adam, right now, I just said it and you just got diarrhea just hearing the word. So you don't have to worry about that, Adam. All right, let me do a little competitor analysis. We're talking about price points and PV splits. By the way, I've created a fictional competitor. I even went so far as to create a logo, okay? Nutraflop. This is not a fictional bunch of numbers. These are actual numbers that were pulled from a competing company yesterday and verified twice over with this particular company. I'm just saying there's folks on the line that I actually can say, yeah, that's legit because anyway, let's look at Nutraflop. This is a classic example of what I'm talking about. A distributor price point on one of their products, $200, roughly. Okay, roughly. It was a little bit shy of 200, but you add all the fees onto it, it was well north of 200. $200 distributor price point. You're putting your credit card down and dropping $200 for a product that has a commissionable volume, a CV of 100 CV. But wait, it gets worse. The common payout that they have is anywhere between 30 and 38%. Now, they have one of those scenarios where they say as much as 70% of every CV unit. So start with the 200. Okay, let's start with the end in mind. A $200 credit card purchase that you drop for product. You suddenly get a product that only has 100 commissionable volume. And of that, you're getting a 30 to 38% payout on every CV unit. Okay, I'm not trying to, by the way, if you're new to the industry, talk to some of the folks on the line that understand this. As Ray likes to say, a good comp plan is a lot easier. It's a lot more fun to experience than it is to try to explain, but I'm doing my best. So there's Nutraflop, okay? So let's look at Prima. This is the first time we're launching numbers. This is a lot of late nights and sharpening of pencils and berating vendors and all the things you have to do. Learning about things like supply chains and stuff that doesn't have a supply chain from Europe and anyway, and people with accents and all kinds of things. There's a lot of accents in our supply chain. Let's just put it that way. Folks, first time we're making the announcement. Prima is the product we kick off our deck with every night that we do a presentation. Prima is the product that you understand is going to be our unique selling proposition, one of several, but we're going to use that as an example. As a one-time purchase, if you're in our machine in our database, a one-time purchase, if you just decide to purchase it, there's no subscription commitment or anything. You're a pulse and an ID number, and you do a one-time purchase. It's $122.23 with 100 CV and 100 QV. That's not bad. Compare it to Nutraflop. That's not too bad. By the way, Nutraflop is not the name of the company, if you'll figure that out. It doesn't even rhyme with Nutraflop. I completely changed it. Okay. So if you're on subscription though, and this is what we're doing in our comp plan, it's all about carrots, not sticks. We want people to, okay, the way to put it, okay. There are a certain amount of supplements that a daily intake gives you a health benefit. It's an apple a day keeps the doctor away, not 30 apples once a month. We want people to take our product every day because that's where the stats come from. If you hear all the stats on olive oil, it's olive oil consumption daily. If you hear stats on vitamins, minerals, it's daily, required daily allowance. So we're not loading people up with more than they can take. So a 1 month subscription, not a one-time purchase, a subscription now. The exact same product, it's just a different price point if you're on subscription, will arrive to the comfort and safety of your home every month for $110 with 100 CV. But wait, with 110 QV. And wait, there's more. You're going to get anybody on subscription. There's a $110 price point, but we're actually giving you an additional 10% QV, that's qualifying volume. And that pays off in the next couple of slides, you'll see. So a 110 US dollar purchase of our Prima actually has 100 CB, but 121 QV. It's a way that we can motivate folks. Again, what gets incentivized gets done. And we want folks to be comfortable with our product enough that they're taking it every month. Like you don't have to think about it. So anyway, that price point right there, and I'll explain why that's significant. I was given the challenge when we first started this discussion. Somebody said, "Can you make it so that products have QV that you promise you won't change? Because if you have a qualifying volume requirement in your comp plan, because CV." Those are the things that can change with inflation. I don't plan on changing it anytime in the foreseeable future, but some years you have a ridiculous amount of inflation, and I don't know what happens in governments. I love our unenlightened U.S. government, but they're not exactly predictable sometimes, right? They kind of just do their own thing. So CV may be subject to change in the future, but QV will always be the same. So you'll see QV requirements in the comp plan. The Prima, a month's worth of Prima will have a 110 QV that will not change. That's part of the don't monkey with people's rice bowl, because there is a product that I represented in the past that had a qualifying volume, or did have a PV and a qualifying volume. I thought they were the same thing. But when you dropped it and took people out of qualification, it messed with people's livelihoods, and that ain't too cool. So we're going to get rid of that temptation right there. So Premio Pay. With Premio Pay, we offer the power of simplicity. So look at this quick math. I'm just doing spitballing here, all right? Let's just assume a level in a comp plan that pays 5%. That's a pretty normal thing in a comp plan to have a level that pays 5%. NutriFlop, $200 purchase. That 5% level pays about $1.50. Okay, whatever. OLIABO, that same $200 purchase will pay you $5. Now I know E.F. Hutton, but given the choice between $1.50 or $5, I'll take the $5. Okay, that's just me. Okay, maybe you guys like to get paid less money, right? Let's look into how we're doing this. I'm going to kind of quickly go through this. I realize that we are feeding everybody with a fire hose, but we are going to introduce some terms here. This is the weekly. You notice I said weekly, monthly, and quarterly. We're going to start with the weekly. This is out of the gates, the way that you can put money in your pocket on a weekly basis. Anybody you bring in as a customer to the company, if you have an active account, if you're a Pulse with an active account with OLIABO, you can get 25% override on all personally enrolled orders. So anybody you bring to the table, you get 25% on personally enrolled orders. So first orders, okay, out of the gates. Also, again, remember, incentives are what gets rewarded gets done. There's a reason to double down, and that is if you're getting not one but two Primas, or some of the other products you've been seeing on the slides over the weeks, that gives you a chance to get at 200 qualifying volume yourself to double down, which means you can make an additional 10% off of the folks on the second level of your sponsorship, if you will. Folks, if you don't understand this, because it's a lot of new math, there are folks on the line, I can guarantee you can explain this part of it, okay? Now, I know before I get to the next slide, people are going to go, wait, what did you do the math? You said 50%, buddy, and I'm not counting 50%. Hold your horses, okay? Seriously, hold your horses, all you Goldman Sachs former brokers, okay? It's coming. I'm not showing you everything. There is more stuff to come. And yes, we can do the math, but there's still a few surprises we want to launch. I tell Ray every once in a while, I'm like, Ray, let me surprise you about a few things, okay? The way that things are coming. So monthly, we are calling these baselines. So the first level, the weeklies, we call sprints. I like it because in Italian, sprint, same word, sprint. They have like words in Italian that are just English words. Like this is smartphone. It's the same word, smartphone. A computer. A sprint. Same thing. Baseline, I think we got a problem. I think it's going to be basaline. But anyway, baseline is your monthly commissions. So this is what's paid monthly. And folks that are in my previous energy orbit, I gave you some cheats here, all right? Kappa in Italian just simply means K. The letter K doesn't actually exist in the Italian alphabet, but it exists in the greater world of marketing. So Italians have the letter K. It doesn't appear when you go to school, but it appears in daily marketing, right? Kappa is K. So 1K, quinto, I'm just doing a little quick math thing. Quinto, like in quintet, it's 5K, thousands, if you will. Venti, Venti is 20K. These are volume requirements. But also, if you go to Starbucks and you get like, there's small, medium, large, and then they got the Venti, and you're like, the heck is Venti? And I kept thinking, that's not a word in Italian. And I'm like, oh, it is. It's the number 20. Because Howard Schultz, when he came back from Italy, he created something that doesn't exist in Italy, and that is the ginormous long haul truck driving cup of coffee that we like only in the United States. And it's 20 ounces, so he called it a venti. And then we have Premio, which is, oh, look, you got like a little regal color scheme there. So let me go through some of the quick numbers on this one. If you are a Pulse and an account with us, anywhere between 0 and 99 QV, you are eligible for 5% monthly commissions on anybody that is buying on a monthly basis. If you're a Brava rep, then the difference is that you're ordering at least a Prima every month at 100 QV. You're qualifying for 2 levels, 5.5. But if you do something as simple as have 3 personally sponsored folks, representatives, and have 3 legs of 100 PV, and anywhere in your organization have 1,000 group volume, you're qualifying already out of the gates for 20%. That's 5, 5, 10. That's not a typographical error, folks. That's 5%, 5%, 10%. I think some comp plans these days are a little bit like third world countries. There's no middle class, and I think that's a little bit appalling. So I'd like to reintroduce the middle class back to the world of network marketing, where people can make checks every month, not having to be the next Dexter Yeager, or I should probably use Ray Hammond, Dexter Yeager, Amway circa 1950s guy. But okay, folks, I'm not going to go through all of the minutia tonight, but if you look here, these are basic requirements here. The Quinto is not outrageous. There's no structure requirements like historically. I used to have a comp plan that had similarities to this. That was every single person had to have a structure to their organization within each of these legs. We now have 3 siloed legs to get to Quinto or 5K. So if you have anywhere in your organization 5,000 in monthly organizational qualifying volume and 3 legs, each doing 1,000, there's no structure requirements in those legs, folks. That's not a typographical error. I'm going to show you a little graphic detail about this. Let you snapshot. Why don't I do this? And you'll see the red jumps to a different, Premio jumps to a different category. That's you qualify for the global bonuses. I'm going to talk about that in a moment, but let me walk you through a little worksheet. The basic building block of the OLIABO comp plan is me plus 3. If you're watching these calls every week where we're talking about olive oil, you're probably thinking, man, I could really benefit from this, but I know my aunt, Brenda could use this, and my friend on my street that's always complaining about his arthritis, and this dude over here that's like this. Me plus 3 can build you a beautiful business with OLIABO. Not 300. We've been in those plans, me plus 3. So starting out, very simple, keeping it simple. 3 things required to get to Kappa. And that is 1, first and foremost, you are personally purchasing 100 qualifying volume a month for yourself. Number 2, you have 3 people who have also made the same commitment of also getting 100 qualifying volume a month. And then somewhere in your organization, 1,000 group qualifying volume. That's it. Basta punto. And you're already qualified for 3 levels of pay for 20% in the comp plan. You see how fast that happened? Just like bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so I had in my previous life, there's a couple people knocked off a comp plan of something that I worked on with Zango. And then I would hear this like, we knocked off Zango's comp plan and it didn't work. I'm like, we didn't put dynamic compression in it, you moron. Like, honestly, that's like the je ne sais quoi, or you had no global bonus. You can't just bit and part it. You have to do the whole thing. This thing has been put together like a tapestry. It's been woven. Okay.
I think that's one of the big challenges is that people, because of the technology is a little bit more available and product development is easier because of manufacturing. Almost anybody off the street can throw up a company in the network marketing space, but it doesn't mean they have any actual knowledge or understanding of how to build a content,
Exactly.
how to build a community, how to do all these things we're talking about.
Exactly. Okay. You know, when you get, Curtis, you know this, you're talking to somebody who claims to have an expertise about something, and you can tell that they're Googling it or chat GPTing it, and they get the email voice, right? They're like, you know, Curtis, I think that makes a lot of sense because historically I'm like, dude, stop reading the freaking Google. You can't build a company just Googling a comp plan. Like it's, anyway, 3 levels right here. So that's the first level really in the unilevel, for lack of a better description. It's even very different than a unilevel in some respects, but Quinto, okay? So this is what I've also given the code speak of 5K, this level. Quinto, 3 things, not 30, not 300, 3 things to become a Quinto. First and foremost, you have to purchase 100 QV, 1 Prima, done, basta, okay? 5,000 in group purchase volume or group qualifying volume somewhere in your organization, and 3 people like you who have committed to 100 personal volume themselves, and each one of those has 1,000 group qualifying volume. And I know all the folks out there, they're like whispering, wait a second, what's the structure required below that person? None structure. It's just like a silo, like this. And I know you're like, well, what happens if the person at the top of that thing decides to move to Bolivia and suddenly have 3 people rolling up to that? But it's bundled. It's a bundle. Curtis has gotten in charge of bundling stuff like that. Don't worry about it. That's what the robots do. They're going to take over anyway. We might as well let them trust them with a few things, right? So at Quinto, you are now qualified for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of compensation. That's 5, 5, 10, 5, 5. So I want to point out all those gray levels because that's important going forward. I'm going to explain a little bit about something called dynamic compression that apparently in the last 10 years, people forgot how to explain. So it's very important because theoretically, when you hear about breakage, let's look at this. I'm going to start with this example. I'm going to loop back to it in a few slides. Theoretically, a Quinto could be qualified for 8 levels of pay, but they're actually not based on the way that they've built so far. They're only qualified for 5. So there's 5, 5, 5. Those levels right there are gray because that Quinto is not qualified to get them. But many times they exist. It's not unusual for somebody like that to have an organization that goes 20 levels just because they sponsor somebody like Ray on the line and suddenly those people take off. So what happens to those levels? Well, that's where you get this dirty secret of breakage. Companies are happy to put that in their pocket. I don't know if you know this or not, but if you don't do your tax returns right and the government owes you money, they won't give it to you. I don't know if you know that. It's just a funny thing. Unless you tell them, give me my money back, they won't give it back to you. They'll gladly keep it, right? Good. Understands the way the government works. When I get my own planet, I'll fix it. But at the moment, this is the way an average comp plan works in an average company. They say you can earn as much as 8 levels. But if you're only qualified for 5 and you have a 20-level organization, what happened to those 3 levels? It goes in the pocket of the corporation. I'm not anti-corporation. I happen to be, unfortunately, the CEO of one. Curtis is the president of one. All of you are talking to people that are in one. But I want to keep honest people honest. We make better decisions if we're not betting against if we're not betting against the field. You want success in the field. I want everybody to.
Yeah.
Yep. Because you bet against the field. You bet against your salespeople if you have breakage in your plan. So, Venti, next level. That's a 20K in a previous life. What are the 3 things required to be Venti? Not 30, not 300 things, 3 things, okay? First and foremost, we have now, your big boy pants are on now because you got 20,000 in group purchase volume or group organizational volume. So, we're going to ask you to buy 200 qualifying volume yourself personally. We're going to ask you to find still 3 people that have 100 qualifying volume each, okay, with 5,000 in group. But we're going to ask you to get another guy. Well, it's the new guy. It's Shemp. It's the new person, the new dude that doesn't know much. He's just coming in because he's excited. We're going to get you to have one of him. So you're going to have 4 personally sponsored folks. They look like that. 3 are siloed with organizational volume and 1 isn't. He's the satellite orphan that's just learning. You're hoping through osmosis he's going to figure things out. But 3 things: 200 qualifying volume yourself, Second, you have 4 people personally sponsored, 3 have organizational volume. And third, you're going to have somewhere in your organization 20,000 in group qualifying volume. You now qualify for 7 levels of depth. So look at this. I am now able to say this, and it's so beautiful because we are probably under 40 minutes. First time through with all my blah, freaking blah at the beginning, right? So we are now maxed out on the level, which pays 8 levels. I know in a previous life it paid 9, but I have the benefit of math and hindsight. And all of this, trust me, pays very, very, very big. So premio. I know it sounds like another word from our past. Premio. It just means kind of awesome gift in Italian. 200 qualifying volume yourself. 3 people doing, it's actually 2,000, 20,000 each in group volume with a $200 commitment or 200 qualifying volume commitment. The third one is $100 qualifying commitment with 5,000 in group because it's never exact anymore. At this point, you've got an organization that's doing their own dang thing. They're running off, doing their own thing. You got politics at this point in your organization. It's okay. You can handle it. You're big people by this point. You got a little politics, some egos, but you're going to have the requirement of 5 personally sponsored folks. 2 of them are the new folks. They got the new guy smell. And then you have 3 legs that you're building out, and that will qualify you for 8 levels of volume. 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. And you're like, wait, you said it paid 50%. You're behind on your big mouth promises, and you're not even out of the first day of training your comp plan. But that's where the global bonus comes in. That's where we make the big money. Okay. This is something this goes back to a challenge thrown down to me by a guy named Ray Heron many, many years ago in a little adventure we called Sterling Health. He was the #1 check, and he pretty much maxed out how much he could make. And he's like, Gordon, my boy, if you could ever figure out how to make a unilevel pay like a stair-step breakaway. And I was like, I'll take that challenge. So one of the ways that we have done this is through something called a global bonus. So you may not know anybody in South Africa, and you may never sponsor anyone in South Africa, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have some business in South Africa at some point in the future. And it'd be nice that people in South Africa had the ability to make a little global bonus off somebody in the US of A or Canada or Philippines or Australia or wherever the case may be. 5% of every PV, all the PV goes into something called a global bonus that stays in a suspense account that's earmarked. It's sacred funds. I thankfully I had enough of smarts, me and myself, Joe and my partners, that I never missed a weekly, a monthly, or a quarterly in all the years that I ran Zango. And I'm very proud of that, right? I can tell you I lack sophistication, but I do like people to be paid properly and on time. And these global bonuses are really, really fun to get. And you will be getting a pro rata share of the global bonus based on your group purchase volume. Now, I'm not going to get into that tonight because I'm 58 and the seasons will change very shortly here. I've got deadlines to make, and I haven't eaten. No, Curtis gave me a taco. I had a taco. It was a very good taco. Thank you, Curtis. But we will be talking about how the pro rata works. But 5% is not 1, but 2% more than some of the folks on the line we're used to. So I can tell you're going to say something.
Yeah, no, we'll get into more details as time goes on, not in this presentation, but I want you to recognize what's happening here, the way that this is put together. There's the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly opportunities, but there's alignment with the company and with your business efforts, right? We're eliminating breakage and other things and incentives for the company to do the wrong thing. No, we want to be aligned with you, but we also want you to be aligned with each other, not just in your direct organization, but this global bonus aligns everybody across the whole organization because everyone can benefit from everybody else's efforts. And so we're aligned all across the board. The company, all of you, this plan is going to blow the doors off.
Oh, amen, Curtis. And by the way, Curtis is in every one of these comp plan programming meetings that I have twice a week. He probably enjoys it more than I do. It's the mechanics of the comp plan. I'm Mr. Dynamics. When I want it to behave this way, and then the mechanics are how do we program it? that part of it I'm not very good at. Okay, I'll just point out I don't even like these. Okay, let alone electronic code. But we got this bugger down pat, guys. I'm not kidding. This thing's gonna kick. It's gonna make money, and there is nothing wrong with that. I see that people will regularly throw crap at capitalism, saying it's the unequal distribution of wealth. But the opposite of that is the equal distribution of misery, and that is no fun, guys. The equal distribution of mediocrity is not what gets me excited every day. I'm here to tell you that the thing that this comp plan will do, and I'm very proud of this, is okay, folks. We'll put it this way. I love the fact that we have a government that takes care of infrastructure and roads, and when their house catches fire, someone will put it out. But governments historically create deficits, and salespeople create surpluses. That is the heart of the free enterprise system. And I think those salespeople should deserve a pat on the back. And I think that this is a way to do it. And you'll see going forward. Just take my word for it. Freeze this moment, thaw it out a year from now. And I think you'll say, man, I'm really glad I spent Thursday night? Thursday, the 18th. Listen to that aging marketing mutant and his weird ass zeros and ones partner talking about this. And Ashley and Joe, I'm not dissing Adam, but folks, I started this Premio Pay by saying we want people to work where they want and earn what they deserve. But I'm taking it a step further, folks. I'm challenging all of us if we want to do this, you can work where you want, you can work when you want, you can work with whoever you want, and you can earn what you deserve through our Premio Pay plan. And you know why? Because it's your red, white, and blue right, by the way. Ooh. And if you notice, the way that we start our presentations we talk about Italian authenticity meets American ingenuity. And I love my beautiful Italian roots, and they have elevated food, I would probably say, on the planet. They are the number one country on the planet to elevate food to the top of where it should be in the hierarchy of importance. But if we're really good at one thing in America, is we can do business. And we actually are that. I have to say, folks, the world looks to us, and I say us now because I've been an American since 2003, and I'm very proud of that, and I love my home country of Canada. But America does one thing really well, and that is we do business really well. And history has proven that this is the land of opportunity, and I want the world, again, to plug into that optimism that is the American spirit. It definitely sucked me in. Like I left my home country of Canada when I was 19 and went to school in the States, and I love it here. So, folks, this is one of those things where I'm sorry if you're calling from another country. This is the part where I do that little thing that people go, "Is that fake? America really like that? Really, people that into it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, take my word for it. The patriotism is a very real thing here." So, let me see. I'm going to do one last thing here, folks. I am going to do my best to do a very short, quick capsule summary, and this is far from perfect. I'm only going to give a short example of what dynamic compression does. And I'll do this. Adam, my brother, thank you so much for creating this slide with your clip art and your impossible to read graphic in the corner. Dude, I'm 58. I can't read that from back of the, but okay, cool. All right, good. So what Adam has so nicely done is he's created this, because I can't do it on a whiteboard because you folks aren't going to see it. I will explode this into better detail. But this was like, I think, a taunting challenge from Ray yesterday. Will you do some dynamic compression discussion to get us going? Ray, we will do a way better job going forward on this one. But Adam, thank you for throwing this together. Let me give you an example of what happens. You have to think upside down for this scenario to give you, I'm going to start to salt your mind as to why I can make the claim, we can make the claim, the computers guys can make the claim, and you as distributor leaders, if you choose to embrace this, can make the claim that we will be paying out 50 cents on every commissionable volume unit.
Thanks for asking him to do this.
Sorry. Take a look. Imagine in reverse that there's somebody down in your organization that is triggering a case of juice sale. And you have to go backwards on this one. On your level one, you have a rep. And okay, all right, easy. That rep is making 5%. Okay, now you are a new 100. There's a new 100 CV person. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click through this and imagine, okay, that if the person on the second level here is a rep, that means they're not qualified for a second level. for a second level of purchase on this one, right? So 0 is paid out, 0 levels fulfilled. Well, that's breakage to a normal comp plan. But wait, we don't do that. We keep searching. Wait a second, there's a Brava rep in the upline here. That Brava rep is actually qualified for second level pay. That person gets a bonus of a 5% payout. Wait, there's another Brava rep above that. Oh, they're not qualified. That breakage would normally go to a company, but not us. We keep looking upline. We fulfill third level here by finding a kappa in the upline. There's another percentage payout. Level 3 fulfilled. By the way, we are now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels, but we are now fulfilling the third level of pay. Can you imagine how much breakage that we could be putting in our pockets as a corporation? This is those shows that used to have on Fox that when magicians reveal their tricks and everybody, all the magicians guilds are like, boo, we hate Magisto or whatever his name is because he's telling people how they saw a lady in half. We don't really saw a lady in half. No, duh. Okay. And in comp plans and the corporations, they don't like me talking about breakage because I'm telling you, all the companies out there are doing it, and it doesn't mean it's right. So level 3 fulfilled in this case on the 5th. Okay, go up again, a kappa. Okay, that person is not qualified, right? But we don't pay it to the company. We just keep looking. Wait a second. Now we got a quinto up there, so we can fulfill level 4, 5% payout, and we go up. Level 4 fulfilled for the quinto above it. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 levels right there. And we had to search up to get 8 levels to fulfill 4. Keep going and keep going, keep going up to 8 levels. Folks, it's not going to be unheard of in a very short amount of time that there's people on this call. They're going to have an organization that has 50 levels deep, 100 levels deep. Well, all of those little lines of sponsorship start to add up to a lot of black holes of breakage for a company. And I don't want to be one of those companies that's betting against the field not succeeding. So this is just a way to keep honest people honest. You know, Joe and I are a couple country boys, and most of us in this organization have rural roots. If you get a chance to listen to our we say general counsel, you can't tell on our slide deck from his name, Jeff Warwick, but he's from Louisiana. He sounds more like Ray than he sounds like Curtis and I. Curtis got rural roots in his grandfather just lived up the road from here. I had a freaking outhouse. So Ashley says she's from California, but she's from the part of California where they still farm. It's nowheresville, California. I'm kind of proud of that. But what I'm saying is you don't want us in a position where we are forced to bet against breakage, right? The robots take care of it. I'm making that commitment out of the gates. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is an unfinished slide. This is where we started. Maybe I'll use it in the future. We'll go back to this one. What's a better one to end on with? This one. This is the best one to end with. So anyway, that's it. I talk so much sometimes that I have to just remind myself to say the end. Okay, so yeah, you guys are the best, really. You've been so patient over the weeks to get to this point. There is definite rewards to being an early adopter in most areas of business. I would like to think this is no exception. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for hanging with us on a Thursday night. Curtis is looking at the chat line, and we may be able. Oh my gosh, we're under an hour.
Yeah, doing good.
Bada bing.
It's getting better for you.
You want to take a question or two, Curtis, or should we?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple questions, and again, we'll keep it light tonight because I know there'll be a lot of questions, and a lot of you will want to get more in depth, and some of you are still trying to wrap your head around some of the things that we're just talking about from the product side. Some of you may be mostly focused on, I think I'm going to be a customer, maybe not on the business side. So we'll keep the overall questions light tonight, but know that we're going to get more in depth as we go. We're going to be putting out a lot more information to help you better understand these things. But yeah, so I mean, there's not a lot of questions right now, but I'd say just initially.
Thank you, by the way, folks. My brain is Q&A, rapid fire Q&A at 8:00 at night after it's been a long week so far. There's a lot going on. This CEO thing is really hard. You've got to learn a lot of stuff. You have to read things like operating agreements and contracts and we had the PO issue this week. I won't even bore these people with it. It's funny, actually.
Good stuff, though.
Yeah.
No, so honestly, a couple questions here. So let me read through.
Sure.
Let's see which ones, because some I think will be more relevant to the group, and others maybe we'll do.
I have a lot going
direct
on right
interaction.
now, but I
So
would probably
first question:
get an
is there a
account,
sign-up fee? So we're still working out all the mechanics
use the
of
products,
whether a sign-up
and
fee or not.
possibly get a water filter.
But I will say this: for those who are in this early adopter group, there will not be any sign-up fee for sure. And whether or not we will introduce a sign-up fee, we're not 100% decided yet. But just know that all of those are on the list now, which is all of you who have been invited to these early presentations. That if you choose to work with us, there will be no sign-up fee, even if we do decide to incorporate a sign-up fee. And if we did decide to incorporate a sign-up fee, it would be a minimal annual fee that would allow, help us to pay for, the software, the support, some of the back office functionality, just to help maintain that. But again, we're not decided on whether or not we'll have a fee or not.
Not our software, that's built into it, but y'all will have a back office if you do anything.
Exactly. That's what I mean, yeah. Will we have a mobile app? Yeah, they're probably not right out of the gate, but there will be some different mobile app ideas that we have that we're looking into that can potentially be incorporated into the business in the future, but not right off the bat. But I think there's some good ideas that we have that we're working on that could be helpful. Let me see here.
By the way, there is discussions also. I'll put it out there. Shipping is always an issue. We have more than one way that we'll approach this. Our whole goal is that there's nothing egregious in the shipping. There's no big surprises in the future in that. It'll be stuff that you're probably used to as far as the way that shipping is approached.
Yes, yeah, we'll have some ability for free shipping options and thresholds. We're also looking at potentially rolling out like a VIP annual membership that has a bunch of different perks, including free shipping on all orders. So we'll continue to roll out those things as we solidify our thought process on that. But we'll be very shipping friendly for sure.
Yeah, that will fall in line with industry stuff that you're used to.
Yeah, absolutely. Replicated sites, yeah. So the systems that we'll be using will have, you'll have your own back office and ability to shepherd people along and manage your business through your own back office, replicated sites, things that way. Yes.
We have a fax machine. I know people are really excited to find out. I don't know if we have a fax. Is that a fax machine? Does that work?
Good. I don't know.
Ashley, does that thing work as a fax machine? No, we don't have a fax machine. Sorry, folks.
So yeah, not sure on the Canada tariff or certain things like that. We'll have to get that buttoned up as we go, but we will have more information on that as we get that kind of dialed in. Question around. So I'll touch on this. This is a little more in depth than we wanted to go, but I think it brings up a good point. So question is this: so if you have 5 legs that combined added up to the needed requirement CV, can the extra 2 legs volume be available for the 3 necessary legs? So we'll get into more detail on this another time, but we'll be introducing something that we call horizontal compression, and that's what this question brings up. So just a brief explanation.
That's a very good question, by the way. I freaking knew it. You guys out there, I know some of you guys have black belts, but be easy.
So the way that horizontal compression will work, and again, we'll go more in depth another time, and we'll have better graphics and things like that. But essentially, think of it this way, right? We want people to realize, like, yes, me plus 3, but as you get building bigger, you add a 4th, a 5th, and really depth and width will make you bigger checks, right? And so we want to encourage that, but we also want to make it simple so that, let's say you do have 5 legs, right? You've got 5 legs and you've got, one that is hitting a qualification level, but the other, you've got 2 that are working, but they're not quite there, and 2 others that are doing something. Those others can be automatically summed up in a way that could create 2 additional qualifying legs to push you into a new rank.
Wow.
And the system is built to automatically do that. So it can take that horizontal building and compress it to give you the qualifying legs that you need by adding the other legs. Don't try to think too much about it right now.
It's way smarter than it used to be, guys.
Know that it's a really amazing thing that you won't have to think about. And we'll have some good graphics and deeper dives in explaining that so you can better wrap your head around that. But it's going to be an incredible thing. So we're going to have GQV bonuses that'll every time a subscription is coming in, you'll get a QV bonus that'll go all the way up through the upline. That'll help you move up through the ranks faster. Horizontal compression, all these other things. It's going to be pretty dynamic and amazing.
Yeah, and by the way, if you're new to the world of discussions of CV and QV, there's a reason we have differentiators between them, and we'll have lots of time to explain this, right?
Yeah.
We want to make sure we started with our best folks here, so that you had a good jump on this. It really is, though. There's not a whole lot of like there used to be like, hey, you have to figure out the secret code and how you can crack the comp plan. And there's no secret code. You're pretty much looking at it right here. It's very much the way you see it. So
there's some questions about like ID numbers and other things like that we're still refining as far as how the system will work. And it's
going to use your social security numbers if you're okay with that. And we're running all our data through North Korea. I hope you're okay with that. No.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of it for tonight. And we will do our regularly scheduled Tuesday presentation on the regular stuff next week. And then we'll continue to refine the comp plan I can't even talk. The comp plan presentation and get some more info out there as we go. But we really appreciate your time, your attention. We hope you're excited. We're excited, and we hope you'll join us on this journey. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to say anything else? Well, Ray,
I think we're good. Ray, are you? I'm not sure if Ray's. Oh, I see. Do I see Ray? I see icon. Hey, Ray. Hello.
Hey, brother. How are you?
I'm well.
You seem a bit excited.
Well, I had a taco. My energy came. He talked to me an hour and a half ago. I was a little bit grouchy, full disclosure, but anyway. How are things in Suttons Bay?
Things are wonderful. Beautiful evening in northern Michigan. Good evening, everybody. Dang, I'm excited. I really am. I see a lot of my friends here tonight, very talented friends. And I want to tell you, I'm so excited about OLIABO, but I'm really excited for you, excited about you, excited for you. We all have a history that we can look back on and remember the good old days. Well, the good old days are going to be a whole lot better. I tell you, Gordon, great job of streamlining this compensation plan. We talked about volume qualifications in the beginning and try to be as simple as you can. You've done a masterful job of putting it together. And folks, I hope you realize you may have to, hopefully you took some screenshots here tonight. I don't know how much of this will be shared out there with us, but hopefully you took some screenshots and you're going to take some time to kind of take a look at this. And if you do some comparisons, and please don't feel like I'm not including some of you that maybe weren't part of Zango, but a lot of these folks were. And you'll have some comparisons. Go take a look, and you're gonna realize you're gonna be able to build a business probably about 10 times faster with the OLIABO compensation plan. Really, really excited about it. Excited for our future. I've said this before. I want to say it again. It's really the very first time that I've had the opportunity in a 40-year career to realize the outcome of this particular venture in advance. I know where this was going to go. You can hang up right now and say that guy's nuts, but I promise you, in the future, I know these guys are branding experts. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They have a lot of business acumen. They understand this industry. They were raised in this industry. They were picking and packing and shipping nutritional products when they were like 8 and 9 years old. And people love these guys all over the world. I love them completely. They've been my friends for about 35 years. I don't have to second guess what they're going to do. I mean, they don't have to talk about things like integrity. They just live it every day. And to make the statement that you intend to pay the field at the level that you're talking about, you're actually disrespecting most of these companies that we've all been familiar with. Lots of breakage go on in these compensation plans. Sometimes we build a business so big we don't realize the breakage is even there. But here's what I know, that quarterly bonus, for those of you listening to me tonight, You build a solid business. You don't have to build the biggest business in the country. Just build a good, solid business, and 4 times a year, I promise you, you'll get a great surprise. I mean, some of us can recall. I'm not making income claims. You know, you got to work to earn. That's just part of life in anything that we do. But many of us experience quarterly bonuses in the 6 figures, not even counting the monthly override checks that we're receiving. Folks, don't miss this one. You get one chance only to be there before they turn the switch on. We're already here. I want to encourage you, build your business on paper before they even hit the switch. Some of you are already doing that. I talk to you on a daily basis and very, very proud of you. I'm talking to people that I haven't talked to in a lot of years, and it's exciting for me and it touches my heart. I trust these guys, as I said, I trust them completely. I know what they're going to do. Don't have to second guess them. All that we have to do is do the very things that we already know that we need to do, and we'll be wildly successful. And the whole world is going to learn about OLIABO. I believe this. I've looked at the research. The research would suggest that there is no way that you cannot realize probably some of the best health you've ever enjoyed. I've had the good fortune of being on 1 week supply. That's all. If you don't have your product, don't blame me. It's kind of a tough challenge for these guys to get some samples out. And some of you, I know you're still waiting. It's coming. But I had 1 week on the Prima product, and it actually, it's not the complete product. It's a major part of it. Had one of the best weeks of my life. So just count on it. You're going to love this product. And so knowing that we're going to have that type of product, it's going to be the go-to. It's going to be the very thing when you reach in that pile of supplements. It's going to be the first one that you take probably every morning of your life. We're going to share that good news, share our good results with people all over the world. And we are going to be, write it down, say you heard it here. We're going to be one of the largest network marketing companies this industry has ever seen. So please, please take it very seriously and be ready when they hit the switch. And look at those. I like that term, silos. Build yourself some silos on paper. And when we hit the switch, we'll break some records the first 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months, 1 year. Going to be exciting, folks. I'm so thrilled to be working with you. I'm your #1 fan. Most of you know me. And we've talked personally. We've traveled the world together. I'm looking forward to it again. You can count on me to always be there for you. Losing my voice here. I could get a little bit excited, as you might tell. Folks, we really are. We're here. We're here right now. It's the time to give it everything we got. I'll say it once again. I was personally mentored by a famous man by the name of Jim Rohn, who taught me 40 years ago, Ray, find the right network marketing opportunity at the right time. Build your business as if your life was hanging in the balance for 90 days. It could, magic word, set you up financially for the rest of your life. I've used that formula 4 different times, and it took this old poor country boy from Oklahoma from poverty to fortune. And I know with an opportunity like this one, it can do the same for you. So once again, don't miss it. I'm so glad you're here, and we look forward to getting together really soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ray. You guys may be happy, healthy, safe, and at peace. And we will talk to you probably tomorrow, most of you. But anyway, thanks. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone. And just because I'm that guy, remember, we're still in the NDA period, so be very, very conscious of how you're sharing or talking about this information outside of anybody that has not signed the NDA.
Gordon.
But thanks again so much for your time.
Thanks,
For your
everyone.
attention. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers. Thanks.
Bye.